We were not afraid to take on like larger projects or spend a little bit more money in construction. Even if sometimes you look at something and you feel like, oh, this is too much work. Like I really don't want to get involved in this. Sometimes there's a silver lining behind it.
Welcome to the BiggerPockets Best Deal Ever show. I'm your lovable host, Ken Corsini, who with my wife, Anita, have flipped over 800 houses in Atlanta since 2005 and even have a show on HGTV. But this show isn't about us. It's about all the amazing real estate investors out there that are crushing it. It's about their stories, their best deals, how they sourced them, how they funded them, and what we can learn from their experiences. This is the Best Deal Ever show. Hey BiggerPockets community, before we jump into this video, I want you to take 2 seconds and go to biggerpockets.com/best deals to reserve your copy of my new book, Profit Like the Pros. Between the bonuses we're giving away and the content in the book, I promise you will not be disappointed. Again, biggerpockets.com/best deals. Hey, this is Ken Corsini with the Best Deal Ever show. And on today's episode, I am joined by Angela Florie. Angela, how you doing?
Hey, Ken, I'm great. How are you?
Very good. Good to have you here. Now, you are in Long Island, is that right?
Yes, I'm in Amityville, Long Island, New York.
Okay. Wow. You know, it's like 32 degrees in Atlanta right now. I can't even imagine how cold it is up there.
It's just about the same here.
Is it about the same? Any snow on the ground or anything crazy?
Nope, just miserably cold.
And this is like middle of November. It should not be this cold right now.
Yeah, no.
It's nuts.
It's the inevitable coming.
That's right. You know it's coming. Hey, so tell us about your business. You've been in fix and flip for how many years?
So we started about 5 years ago. My husband and I, he's an architect, I'm a designer. And we started with fix and flips because we love construction. And as a designer, you know, we enjoyed, you know, fixing houses and like, you know, organizing spaces, layouts and stuff. So we were very motivated. We got into our first flip. And after that, we were like on fire. This thing just took off, and we've done a bunch of houses, and yeah, we absolutely love it.
So mostly single family?
Right, yeah, so right now it's single family homes out here on the island, out east mostly, and we're looking to transition into rental properties, which are probably going to be single family homes as well.
Gotcha.
And hopefully in the future, you know, in 2-3 years, maybe we will be doing 10 unit, 20 unit buildings.
Yep. That's a natural progression. A lot of folks, yeah, especially once you start acquiring rentals, you're like, well, why am I going to do onesie twosies when I can get 10 or 50 at a time, right?
Right, yeah.
That makes sense. So now, were you a designer then before you guys got into flipping houses?
Yes. So I was born in Colombia, and my dream was, and I started painting and fine arts. I wanted to be an artist. And my dream was to move to New York City to study design, and I did. I went to graduate school, and it was beautiful. It was everything I ever wanted. And then I met my husband and moved out to Long Island, which is a whole different world.
Right.
And but I kept working, and as a designer, I worked in marketing for about 10 years in large agencies in the city.
Oh wow!
And once I became a serious person, married and stuff, and I thought that I need to be closer to home. So we wanted to do something for ourselves. Like I always want to be my own boss. So I said, you know what, let's just get into this. Let's start flipping houses. And he's an architect, I'm a designer. What could be better than that?
I was about to say, it's a winning combination right there between the two of you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I've got some buddies up there, and I know for a fact that it's not easy to source houses. So what are you guys doing to find houses up there? Right.
So it's a very expensive market, one of the most expensive in the country. What we do is we are on a bunch of wholesalers lists. These guys only do that. And so we get properties from them. We also like to source the MLS because they're, some deals are posted there, even by wholesalers or, REO agents and stuff.
Right.
And sometimes we go to the steps ourselves and bid on properties.
Oh, okay. All right. You're buying at auction still.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. So over the last 5 years, I am sure that there is one deal that stands out to you as your best deal ever. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So this deal we bought from a wholesaler. He actually had gone to the steps and bid on this property. and put it out on the MLS. And we saw it. It said contract vendee, which in my area, it means it's an assignment of contract. There was no other information.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is that that that's the price and that's it. That's, there's no negotiation contingencies or anything, and you have to move very fast. So we saw it. We went out there. The property was completely boarded up and very wet and dark inside. And once we were able to get in, it was completely... it was full of mold. It was dark. You couldn't see anything. The pictures that we took show like nothing, but they're basically dark. And we said, you know what? We love this deal. Let's the more work a deal needs, the better the return.
Oh man, that mold smells like money as far as I'm concerned. Right?
Yeah. The possibility of return. So we called the agent on the other side and we placed an offer. We said, we'll offer you full price. We need an answer now, because we know there's 20 people behind us calling you. So we want to get it, and we can sign we can be in contract tomorrow. So they accepted it. I have a quick
question for you. How does that work up there? He won the bid at the auction, but he didn't actually buy it. So he had a contract to buy it?
Right. So he put his 10% cash at the steps. He gave the cash the check to the referee. And what happens is you get 30 days to close. So you have 30 days to come up with the rest of the money.
Gotcha.
And you can put it in your name, but when you close, what he did was an assignment. So he assigned his contract with the referee to us.
And he can put it on the MLS while he was waiting in that 30-day period still. Dang.
Yeah. So a few years ago, you couldn't do that. Now you can. If you specify it's a contract vendee deal, so you're buying the assignment basically.
Wow, yeah, because there's going to be a lot of markets around the country where folks probably couldn't get away with that. Yeah. That's cool that you can do that in New York. Wow, what a great business model too. I mean, just go bid on some houses and then turn around and put them in the MLS and never buy them. That's absolutely a great model.
Yeah, wow. So we got this deal from this guy like that, and that's all he does. He's a full-time wholesaler.
And buys at the courthouse steps.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So it went on MLS. You found it. You went out, looked at it, probably immediately said, we want it. And so then you had to wait, I guess, that same 30-day period for him to be able to close.
No. So basically you can close the next day. If you have the cash, if the bank or the referee, they don't care. They just give you that 30 days, I guess, by law.
Okay.
And we said, we can be under contract tomorrow. We were going to finance this deal with some of our money, and we were going to pair it with hard money. Okay. Because some of these numbers that we handle here are obscene, right?
Oh, yeah.
We're buying this thing for $200,000, and our after repair value in our calculation was $385,000.
Okay.
So it needed a significant amount of work, and we felt that this guy needed to offload this deal, because once you buy from the steps, you have no opportunity to see the property, do any due diligence. You're basically just, you're buying, what it is. So maybe he walked in there and was like, wow, this is garbage. Right. I'm looking out of here. And we weren't afraid of that. We actually loved it. So we calculated our construction cost, and, it was good to go. What happened with him or with this deal was that once we were under contract, within a week, we had the contract, the attorneys were, everything, the paperwork together. And then the deal wasn't closing because the attorney's office, which is this big firm that handles REOs all over the nation. They have offices in basically every corner. Their paralegals and their attorneys, they weren't communicating. So the deal couldn't close. Their office couldn't give us a good reason why the deal wasn't closing. So we had the money lined up. The wholesaler was ready to close. Our attorney was ready to close. And we had to wait 13 weeks for this thing.
Come on. No explanation? Was there a title issue or something?
No.
What?
No, there weren't any title issues. Everything was clear. We were able to run title. We were able to go in this property so many times after this, just waiting. We brought in all the contractors, everything lined up because we were just sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day we closed, we were in this humongous conference room with this paralegal, and she was like, well, we finally got it. And it's
No
like
reason.
4 months later.
What in the world?
So it was, I think it was just on their end. These guys were very, very busy. And Suffolk County, where I am on Long Island, it has the largest amount of REOs and foreclosures in the nation. So the volume that these people are handling is, it's ridiculous.
Wow.
And even if you look at the properties that come in every week for auction, there's about 400 properties every week that show up in our list.
What year was this that you bought this house?
This is 2016.
16. That's so weird. I mean, it's not like, I guess, the rest of the country wasn't experiencing foreclosures like that in 16.
Yeah.
But up there for some reason. And is that still the case? You feel like there's a ton of foreclosures coming through your county?
Yes.
Wow.
So, yeah, we handle construction projects for one of the largest asset managers or REO managers.
Yeah.
And the only thing that we provide is their construction services. And these guys have about 600 houses in one area called Mastic. And that's all they do. They renovate them and then they rent them out.
Wow.
It's, but they own them. I mean, they're taking them, they're foreclosing on these properties, and then their sister, brother company, whatever it is managing those assets. So, it just shows you what the area has.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. I wonder what the impetus behind that was. Maybe there's a whole bunch of bad loans written so many years ago in there or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, so how did that affect you? That's 3 extra months before you close. I mean, that's a long time to wait.
Yeah, it was a long time. And our down payment was, stuck in escrow. We couldn't get the money out. We couldn't put that money to work. So one of the things that when you calculate your purchase price is that moment, your comps are what that moment tells you.
Right.
And 3 months later, the numbers can be completely different. So we were afraid that it would impact us negatively at the end.
Yeah.
The time frame, and then we were going to miss the spring season because we were, it was right in the middle of that.
Yeah.
But once we were able to close and we started working, we changed our entire timeline. We had planned 10 weeks of rehab. We ended up doing this in 6 weeks, 6 to 7 weeks.
And what was the total number of rehab?
The total. So in the end, our numbers were, we spent $85,000 in the rehab. And the reason for this, and it's so interesting because this house was completely gutted. We had to do more remediation. We had to do air test quality and a bunch of other things. But everything was ready for us to go. So we didn't have demo. We didn't have 10 dumpsters. We only had 5 dumpsters. Because
it was already stripped for the most part?
Right. The bank had taken everything.
Oh, okay.
This house had some roof damage from the year before Hurricane Sandy. There was another storm on Long Island, and something happened to this house, and half the roof was missing. And so, so all this water damage over the years and whatever. Once the guy was evicted, the bank came in and they gutted the place, and we're like, this is great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Something we don't have to pay for.
That helps, right?
Yeah.
So $85,000 rehab in, what did you say, 6 weeks?
We spent 6 to 7 weeks, if I'm not mistaken.
That's phenomenal, man. That's cooking.
Yeah, we bought it for $200,000, spent about $85,000, and between our holding costs, closing costs, we ended up spending $335,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. All in, and then sold it for $385,000?
No, we sold it for $420,000.
So your original estimate of ARV actually went up after you held it for those 3 months?
Yes. The market had changed during those 3 months, and it was in a negative effect. It was a completely opposite effect. The comps had changed. And we got a full price offer. We actually listed it for $419,000, thinking we were going to get, 400, 409. And we had an open house. A guy showed up with his family and he loved the house. And he was like, look, I don't want to lose this house. So I'm going to give you $420,000. And our agent was like, done. So
wow.
Very fast. And this guy was he had a VA loan, and he came with a letter certifying his loan, which was very odd, but it was great because it was almost like, I'm ready to go. Like I'm going to close this deal.
Yeah.
So, so I think 39 days later we had closed.
Goodness gracious. So how long did you actually hold it? Then, I mean, you didn't own it for very long.
Well, after rehab and stuff, it was only five to 6 weeks.
After rehab. So yeah.
After rehab.
So 12, call it 12 weeks total. I mean, that's not bad at all.
No, it's not bad at all. No, after the whole ordeal, waiting for the deal to close, we moved very, very fast.
It's so funny. I mean, because I think about sitting on a property and not closing. This happens to us too for various reasons, title issues or whatever. And we're always sweating it because like we've got good comps right now. It doesn't mean the market's going to go up. A lot of times you're afraid that more inventory is going to hit and that, it's going to be a totally different environment 3 months down the road. It actually, in your case, this played to your favor.
Yeah, it was great. And our team was great. Everybody was working fast. And it's just everything kind of like fell in place without us like really trying. We had a lot of stress because, the time, the money, hard money, it's always very stressful. And even though we have a very good interest rate with our lender, because we've done so many deals with them, every deal they drop the interest a little bit.
Nice.
It's still, stressful because everything is on the line.
Yeah. I get that. Well, you guys, the fact that you turned around as quick as you did in a massive renovation, was there anything interesting or unique to the renovation? Or you guys, I mean, this is your business. So you just cut right to the chase and knock it out, it sounds like.
Yeah, we did one thing in this house because the area typically, and this was a split level. So a lot of people like to rent the first level and live in the second story, whatever. But you can market a house like that because it's, the house is not zoned. It's not a 2-family, it's a single family. So you can't use any of that language in your listing or anything. But we added all the electrical and the plumbing in an area of the house in the first floor with an entrance that looked more like a laundry mudroom type of thing with the floor and everything. But if the person that bought it wanted to create his apartment to rent downstairs, he could easily without, having to modify a lot of the construction. And we did that on purpose because the area requires it. We know our target buyer. And so we target those areas where your mortgage is not very high. If people need to do that, we provide the means to do that.
You basically made it house hackable is what you did.
Yeah.
Like you set it up. So like somebody wants the house hack, the work's been done. They come right in and it's turnkey for them.
Yep.
That's smart. And you think that played into this VA guy coming in and giving you a full price offer?
Yeah, we think so. We think it's very common in that area. And we didn't ask the question. I only met him when we closed, the day of closing. I handed him the keys and I picked up my check and that was it. But we feel that it was something that, that people would appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like it. What an interesting story. So let me ask you this. Anything that you learned from this, anything that you would do differently going forward? I mean, it was a little bit of dumb luck that it was delayed as long as it was. Any takeaways?
Well, you know what, after this, we were not afraid to take on like larger projects or spend a little bit more money in construction. Even if sometimes you look at something and you feel like, oh, this is too much work. Like I really don't want to get involved in this. Sometimes there's a silver lining behind it.
Yeah.
And I think that's our biggest takeaway. And after that, we were, I guess after every single flip that we sold, we just kept going and, we were on fire. So we just loved it.
So this is one of those jobs for you is a little bit of a stepping stone into larger rehab. It's funny. It's the stuff that scares the majority of the population away that creates opportunity for investors. right? So if there's mold and it's dark and dank and boarded up and your average person doesn't want anything to do with it, that's where we as investors, that's our opportunity right there. Just come and do it.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, we made almost $90,000 in this thing. It's like, oh my God, in one deal.
That's amazing.
And I haven't seen that again. So,
yeah,
it's like, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, this was a fantastic one, Angela. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Take care. Thanks for listening to the Best Deal Ever show, brought to you by BiggerPockets. If you've been energized, entertained, or enlightened by today's show, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Ken Corsini, or check us out online at redbarnhomes.com. And don't forget, one man's best deal ever may be the inspiration you need to create your next best deal. So, hope to see you on the next episode.